You said you wanted to get off of LeBron's payroll as soon as possible. And, people create their own narratives, but a lot of people might say, well, it's easy for him to become the number one agent because LeBron, right? LeBron's his guy. But I know you always...
It's actually harder. Go ahead.
So talk about that, and talk about why it was essential for you to get off of his payroll, and why it's essential for you to not be in that type of role.
Well, it was essential, number one, because prior to, I've always been someone who had a pretty entrepreneurial spirit, right? My dad was a store owner. We made our money selling beer, wine, and cigarettes. I grew up playing people lottery numbers at 7 and 8 years of age, right? I learned about marketing by selling Now and Laters and Jolly Joes and Cherry Clans, and that's how by what you came and bought in the store. This is how I learned about supply and demand. So when my dad would send us back to the wholesale store, he would sit in the car and let me go in and pick the candy. I couldn't pick the candy that I wanted. I had to pick the candy that the people would buy, because that's how we made our money. And so through that, I learned customer service and the importance of customer service, right? Because the community is the job. We got to make sure that we take care of the community. And so that allowed me to have that mindset. But to answer your question, LeBron wasn't obligated to do anything for me or anybody else. The only person he was actually obligated to do something for was Gloria James. That's his mother, right? I was so happy that I wasn't his brother, like blood brother, because at that point, there's a guilt that comes into play, right? And if I screw up, can you really fire your brother, right? And so for me, once I got my opportunity, and when I got the call, when my mother called me and said, you have a check in the mail, and when you guys read my book, some of this is in there, but when my mother called me and said, you have a check in the mail, I wasn't expecting that. I didn't even know how to really read a check. My mother showed me how to do so. But when I called and asked what my job was, he said he didn't know. He said, I actually don't have a position for you at all. I don't have one, and I don't know when I'm gonna get one. So now I got two choices. I'm definitely not a yes man, and I love to shop, so I like to go I can't wait on you to go to the mall for when I get to go to the mall. That's not gonna ever happen. So because of that, I did the things that I created value. I was everything from party promoter before he was even able to party, stylist, jeweler, until one day in the Nike meeting, he asked me, what did I think? And it's Phil Knight, it's Charlie Denson, it's Lynn Merritt, it's all the top executives at Nike. And now I'm saying, well, I'm not guessing here. This is what I know, because I've had every shoe that ever came out since 1989, whatever it was. And so I took the floor. Well, that led to me getting a job at Nike, because they seen I had value. So when I was there, I learned cut and sew. I learned all of the legal aspects of it. I learned the footwear business. I learned the marketing business, because marketing is not endorsements. Marketing is storytelling. Endorsements are endorsements. Marketing, the best marketing companies in the world, they never tell you a price, but they show you the product, but they never tell you the price. Honda's gonna say, this is the Civic, 2023, with leather, it costs you $36,000. That's a sales thing. That's a totally different thing. And so I wanted to make sure that I was always creating value. And I also didn't want, because in life, you can only ride the horse for so long. Can't get comfortable riding somebody else's horse. That don't make sense. So you have to continue to create value. So that's what I did. And then the reason why I went into the agent business is because I felt like our young men the game was being monopolized by people that really didn't understand them as people. They saw them as commissions, but they didn't see them as people. And so if I only see you as a check, I'm not going to invest in you, right? When the talent runs out, I lose your number and I get the next talent. Well, that didn't sit well with me. And so I wanted to create something that they can go to sleep at night knowing that, you know what? I can trust Rich, and I can trust the people that Rich is putting around me, because my integrity and my respect for you as a person won't allow me to do anything that would be detrimental to your future, and damn sure not going to do anything that is going to have you look at me a certain way, because where I come from, there's a major consequence for that. But in the business I'm in, those consequences don't exist. But I didn't know any different. You know, we was just trying to survive the day, sometimes the hour, depending on what's going on around the corner. So I brought that energy and those pitfalls to an industry that didn't know that, and they didn't know our children. And so even currently today, people talk about it's easier with LeBron. Oh, he just did this because LeBron, they must don't know what the word envy means. They must don't understand how hard it is to walk in a room and people tell you, oh, because you represent this person, I don't think you're the right person for me. Even though he's built this big portfolio, and I have a ton of other guys that's built great portfolios as well and done well. But for some reason, it's just hard for people to do business with people that look like, I'm not gonna say for people, I'm gonna say it's hard for our people to do business with our people at a high level and respect them and not cheat them and not try to say, I gave you the opportunity, so you should work for free. No, I gave you the opportunity, you're doing a great job, I'm gonna pay you what you deserve. And I talk to my guys about this all the time. And for anybody else out there, if somebody out there is doing something for you, I don't care if they're your sister, cousin, I don't care if they're on a drug, I don't care about any of that. How you treat people matters. It just really does. And I want to pay you top dollar. I want to pay you more, right? Because when we go to Van Cleef and Louis and Chanel, they're not giving us no discount, and we're not asking for one. We want you to know how much we paid for it. So when when I come to you with my labor to wash your car, and I've washed it, and you had the juice in the cup holder and all this stuff, but you want to, and you don't even want to tip me. Well, that don't work. You get what I'm saying? And so I instill that in my clients from day one. When we go to a restaurant, I pay attention. I watch how they call a waiter or a waitress. Ain't no, hey, yo, no, excuse me, can I have, thank you. And then when that bill comes, we're gonna make sure they get 25%. You understand what I'm saying? That's how it should be. And if it's like that, when you think about the ecosystem for an athlete need a barber, they need a handyman, they need a nanny, they need a driver, they need their wives need a makeup artist and a cosmetologist. You know, they need all these things. This is the ecosystem of the athlete. There's jobs available. But the reason why we don't care to do them in abundance is because how you treat somebody. If you treated them differently, and you explain to them, hey, you're not gonna get a seat at the table when we at the club. That ain't what this is about. But I actually need you to do this. It's a consistent pay for at least 12 years for the right person, at least. And while you're doing that, you build your clientele, right? Because there's a draft every year, people coming in. A real estate agent, my guys is renting places in every city around America, but it's not many. You get what I'm saying? And if it is, they show up late. Like, the habits matter, right? And so this is very important. And I tell my own siblings this: there's an ecosystem. Find a lane. If you find a lane, you got an opportunity. If you got an opportunity, then you make it work from there. Turn this out. 1 + 1 should equal 5 by the time we get done with this.